Hi everyone, welcome to my first batch of electorate previews for the 2026 Victorian state election. Today, we'll be looking at the first 4 seats out of the 88, Albert Park, Ashwood, Bass and Bayswater. I'll most likely still do more text-based previews on my Instagram page a bit closer to the election, but for now I just wanted to make some preview videos on YouTube. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. So the first seat we're going to have a look at today is the seat of Albert Park. It's located just south of Melbourne and it consists of Port Melbourne, South Bank, Albert Park itself and St Kilda. So in terms of two-party preferred, the strongest areas in this electorate are down in the St Kilda West area, but it's also where the highest Green vote was last election. However, as we learnt in the Prahran by-election, the Green strength that used to be in this Prahran, St Kilda, South Yarra area has kind of gone, and that's more of a Labour, even coming back to the Liberals under Jess Wilson kind of area. But the area here around Port Melbourne, typical Labour heartland, especially with all the drama going around for the unions at the moment, could definitely turn into a stronger area for the Greens. In the corresponding federal seat of Macnamara, we also saw a swing against the Greens and a swing to both Labour and the Liberal Party in 2025. So I think Labour should be able to pretty easily hold on to this seat as long as they don't lose a ton of votes in this area here, but that's usually still pretty strong for them. I just don't think the Liberals or the Greens will have a strong enough primary vote to overtake Labour, and then whichever one of them gets eliminated will probably just allow Labour to get the victory, even if they have another dip in primary votes. It's if their primary vote goes into the low 30s, high 20s, which is then when we can start to look at Labour losing their seats to either the Liberals or the Greens. So next we have the seat of Ashwood in Melbourne's eastern suburbs. It's got Chadstone, Mount Waverley, Ashwood and parts of Glen Iris. Also borders Deakin University. It's got 2 train lines running through it, the Alamein line and the Glen Waverley line, so there's no real desire for any new public transport. As I said before, it borders Deakin University, so they'll get some upgrades when the SRL comes in, as that has a station at Deakin Uni. Demographically, you've got a decent concentration of Asian voters in the Mount Waverley area, because it's pretty close to Glen Waverley. But as we go more towards the Glen Iris, Caulfield area of the seat, it's a bit whiter and it's a bit richer. And Jess Wilson will definitely have a lot of appeal in this seat. If the Liberals want to win this seat, they'll need to have a strong local candidate, and they will need to recover their losses in the Asian community from 2022. Otherwise, Labour should be able to hang on here, but it will be close in these conditions. Next is the extremely complicated seat of Bass, currently held by the Labour Party on an extremely slim margin. But as you can see, the Liberals and the Nats both run last time, as it is an open seat for the coalition, but they still couldn't win it. And this seat is definitely one where One Nation, who I haven't mentioned yet, will be looking to test the waters. Whilst the seat is definitely more of a regional provincial seat, you've also got parts of Clyde here, and that's rapidly expanding. I would call it outer suburban by now, and it will have a very high One Nation vote. We've seen that area. There's a considerable amount of Indian and Sri Lankan voters, but it will be very strong for One Nation. This area here around Bales, I think it's pronounced in Lang Lang, will also be solid for One Nation, especially if the Nats choose not to run. The area down south, though, around Inverloch, Wonthaggi, Cape Patterson, that's more touristy, holiday, and will probably suit Labour a bit more. But again, Jess Wilson may still have some appeal in this area, but One Nation will have a lot of appeal in the northern parts of this electorate. You've also got Phillip Island. It's a very hard place to predict because you've got a lot of different types of people. You also have a good chance of having low turnout in this seat as well. But it's a November election, so you might have people who only live there part-time will actually come down. Honestly, I think One Nation, Liberals, Labour, they can all win this seat. I think it'll go to a Conservative party. I think the National swing is probably going to be about 4% against Labour at the minimum, and this seat isn't necessarily one that's going to swing that much against the national trend, even if it's not your typical demographics for a seat. It's not the typical demographics for a Labour seat. No one thought Labour would win it in 2022, but this election it might just be a bit too far. Finally, we have the seat of Bayswater, which was won by Labour last election. And there's one key thing that I want to point out here, and that is this number right here. 12% primary vote lost for the Liberals last election. That means two things. One, that there was a lot of antagonism towards the Liberals at this seat in 2022, but it also means there's still, quick math, 47-48% of people who are happy to vote Liberal in the last 10 years or so. Again, Batten would have had some popularity in like the Baronia area of this seat, but Jess Wilson will also be popular. This is a definite battleground seat for the Liberal and Labour. I don't think One Nation will really have a shot here, as it could just come down to who has a stronger candidate. We've seen parties try to parachute candidates from other places into seats in this area, but if there's a strong local candidate for either party, they could definitely go a long way to winning this seat. In November, this could definitely be a seat that we don't know the result for on election day, but if there's a big swing here early on, it could tell us a lot about the true result of the 2026 election, because this could definitely, for the next 15-20 years, be one of the most marginal seats. There's no real obvious trend here, besides the whole eastern suburbs, Labour doing better thing. But can that be replicated at the state level, where you've got a much more moderate Liberal Party who is appealing to women and appealing to diverse voters much better than the Federal Party is? That's going to be the test for the Liberal Party, and that will start with their candidate selection. And that is all for today. I'll probably try to keep this a series of one video per week until the election. I think it's 26 weeks away, and there'll be like 22 of these videos, so it should just fit. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on Instagram as well, where I do a lot more short form content and like by-election predictions. The link to that is in the channel description and probably in the video as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. Bye!